5 individuals to exclude from your senior years. Did you know that in old age, well-being encompasses not only health and finances, but also the individuals you choose to surround yourself with? Certain people, including relatives, friends, or seemingly trustworthy acquaintances, may not contribute to your happiness but instead cause fatigue, emotional distress, or even exploit you. Are you unknowingly allowing such individuals to disrupt your peace of mind? Let's examine 5 types of people to decisively avoid in your later years. 1. The manipulator. Manipulators exploit the kindness, empathy, and responsibility of others for personal gain. In old age, when individuals seek peace and comfort, manipulators can become a significant burden, negatively impacting both mental and physical well-being. These individuals, who may be family members, friends, or acquaintances, frequently rely on assistance without offering reciprocal support. Initially, they may create a perception of genuine need, but gradually they transform assistance into an obligation difficult to refuse. Identifying manipulators. Manipulators exhibit several key characteristics. Excessive dependence. They begin with small requests, gradually escalating demands over time. Guilt induction. Refusal to assist elicits accusations of selfishness, indifference, or lack of care, inducing guilt. Psychological pressure. They create urgency or employ emotional appeals to coerce compliance. For example, if you don't help me now, I'll be in serious trouble. Unreciprocated assistance. They rarely reciprocate support. Once their needs are met, they may become distant or uninterested. One-sided relationships. Interactions with manipulators are typically one-sided, characterized by giving without receiving commensurate appreciation or support. The insidious manipulation of elderly individuals has profound and devastating consequences, severely impacting their autonomy and independence. Constant exploitation leaves victims feeling utterly powerless, their lives dictated by the whims and demands of their manipulator. Every moment, every ounce of energy is consumed by the relentless pressure to comply, leaving little room for personal agency or self-determination. This pervasive control leads to a significant decline in both mental and physical well-being. The persistent anxiety and stress of navigating the manipulator's demands contribute to exhaustion, depression, and a deterioration of overall health. Furthermore, the manipulative relationship actively prevents the elderly individual from enjoying the peace and tranquility of their retirement years. Instead of savoring well-deserved rest and relaxation, they are burdened with unnecessary conflict and worry, robbed of the serenity and fulfillment they rightfully deserve. The cumulative effect of this exploitation is a profound erosion of quality of life, leaving victims isolated, vulnerable, and deeply affected by the loss of their dignity and self-respect. Addressing manipulative individuals. A. Acknowledge the problem. First, recognize that you're being manipulated and understand that you are not obligated to fulfill others' demands if doing so causes discomfort. B. Establish clear boundaries. When repeatedly solicited, politely but firmly refuse. For example, "I'm sorry, but I cannot assist this time. I need to prioritize my own time." Avoid feeling pressured to over-explain or justify your refusal. C. Confidently say no. Do not fear alienating others while protecting your well-being. Understand that refusal does not equate to disinterest. It prioritizes your health and happiness. D. Reevaluate the relationship. Ask yourself, does this relationship offer value? If the relationship is predominantly negative and exploitative, consider limiting contact or severing ties entirely if necessary. 2. The narcissist. Narcissists are individuals with an excessive preoccupation with themselves, craving attention and admiration. They frequently belittle others to elevate their self-image, demonstrating a profound lack of empathy and manipulating those around them for personal gain. In old age, when individuals seek peace and affection, narcissists can become a significant source of stress. Whether children, spouses, friends, or even caregivers, they demand unwavering adoration and exert controlling behavior over their relationships. Identifying narcissists. Narcissists exhibit several distinct characteristics. They demand to be the center of attention, frequently boasting about their accomplishments, suffering, or hardships. Conversations not focused on them may elicit discomfort or disinterest. They possess an inflated sense of self-importance, believing themselves superior and deserving of preferential treatment. They expect constant service and assistance without reciprocation. Empathy is absent. They disregard the feelings and needs of others to achieve their goals, potentially ignoring others' difficulties unless it directly impacts them. Narcissists are manipulative and controlling, employing verbal and behavioral tactics to influence the thoughts and actions of others, often leveraging guilt or blame to enforce compliance. They evade responsibility for their mistakes, deflecting blame onto others to maintain a flawless self-image, potentially distorting facts to achieve this. The detrimental impact of narcissists on the elderly manifests in several ways. Narcissists undermine self-esteem, inducing feelings of inadequacy and insignificance, thereby fostering anxiety, stress, and a lack of confidence. Cohabitating with or frequently interacting with a narcissist creates a toxic environment, leading to chronic emotional and mental exhaustion. Relationships become imbalanced, characterized by one-sided giving and a lack of reciprocal care, resulting in resentment and unfairness. Furthermore, some narcissists actively isolate their victims from support networks, such as friends and family, to exert greater control. Addressing the challenges posed by narcissistic individuals, a strategic approach. Acknowledging the reality of the situation, it is crucial to understand that the narcissistic individual's behavior is not a reflection of your shortcomings. Their actions stem from their inherent personality traits, and you are not obligated to constantly appease them or validate their self-perceived importance. Accepting this fundamental truth is the first step towards effective management of the relationship. Establishing and maintaining clear boundaries. Never allow a narcissistic individual to dictate your emotions or control your decisions. Learn to assertively decline their unreasonable demands and requests. Setting firm boundaries, communicated clearly and consistently, is essential in protecting your emotional well-being and preventing manipulation. This may involve saying no directly and unequivocally, even if it results in conflict. Strategic distance and limitation of contact. If the relationship becomes overtly toxic or detrimental to your mental health, consider reducing contact or completely severing ties. In cases involving family members, establishing healthy boundaries may necessitate limiting the time spent with them to safeguard your emotional equilibrium. Prioritize your well-being above the expectations of others. Avoiding unproductive confrontations. Engaging in arguments with a narcissistic individual is often futile. They rarely acknowledge fault or accept responsibility for their actions. Such interactions are typically draining and unproductive. Instead of engaging in fruitless debates, maintain your composure, reiterate your boundaries, and refuse to be drawn into their emotional games or manipulative tactics. Seeking support and external validation. Confiding in trusted friends, family members, or a qualified mental health professional can provide invaluable support and perspective. An objective viewpoint can help you process your experiences, develop coping mechanisms, and maintain a healthy sense of self amidst the challenges of interacting with a narcissistic individual. Seeking professional guidance is particularly beneficial in navigating complex interpersonal dynamics and developing effective strategies for self-preservation. 3. Critics consistently seek to belittle, judge, and demean others. They rarely acknowledge the value of others, instead focusing on flaws, shortcomings, and imperfections. In later life, when individuals desire peace, affection, and encouragement, the presence of a critic can induce significant stress, pressure, and unhappiness. These critics may be spouses, children, friends, or other close associates. Identifying a critic. Critics exhibit distinct characteristics. They consistently highlight your flaws, finding fault regardless of your achievements. Praise, if offered, is often sarcastic. That's acceptable, but it could have been better. They belittle others to feel superior, using criticism to demonstrate their own perceived competence. This might manifest as a parent constantly deeming their child inadequate, or a spouse constantly comparing their partner unfavorably to others. They frequently employ the phrase "but" to diminish others' successes and happiness. When someone shares an accomplishment, critics immediately attempt to undermine it. Your son received a scholarship, but that's probably just luck. They compare you unfavorably to others to foster feelings of inadequacy. Why aren't you like Mr. A's wife? She excels at everything. Finally, they never admit fault. If challenged, they blame your sensitivity or inability to accept constructive criticism, stating, for example, "I'm only stating facts. Your inability to handle it reflects your weakness." The detrimental impact of criticism on the elderly. Chronic criticism inflicts significant emotional damage, eroding self-esteem and fostering feelings of inadequacy and worthlessness. This constant negativity generates considerable stress and anxiety, creating a pervasive atmosphere of tension for the elderly individual. When the source of criticism is a family member, such as a child or spouse, the resulting strain can severely damage familial relationships, leading to estrangement, conflict, and the disintegration of once close bonds. The cumulative effect of sustained criticism significantly diminishes quality of life, replacing the peaceful enjoyment of retirement with a constant state of emotional distress and mental anguish. Instead of savoring their golden years, the elderly are forced to endure a relentless barrage of negativity, resulting in profound psychological suffering and a marked decline in overall well-being. This detrimental impact necessitates a proactive approach to address and mitigate the harmful effects of criticism on this vulnerable population. Strategies for handling criticism. Recognize that the issue is not you. Understand that critics will find fault, regardless of your performance. Their words reflect their negative personality and perspective, not your worth. Establish clear boundaries. Do not allow them to control your emotions with negativity. If their criticism is unreasonable, you may respond, "I understand your point, but I am satisfied with my choice." Do not seek their approval. Critics are rarely satisfied. Therefore, do not waste time trying to persuade them. Instead, focus on your well-being and self-confidence. Avoid unproductive arguments. Arguing with a critic is usually fruitless, as they will defend their position. If negativity persists, disengage or change the subject. Seek support from positive individuals. Spend more time with those who respect and value you. Cultivate positive relationships to counterbalance the negativity of critics. 4. The irresponsible. Irresponsible individuals consistently evade accountability, neglecting their duties and readily blaming others or circumstances. These individuals, whether children, spouses, or other family members, burden others with the consequences of their indolence and lack of responsibility. Cohabitating with or becoming dependent upon an irresponsible person in old age can generate significant stress, anxiety, and even financial hardship. Without effective countermeasures, you risk exploitation, being forced to rectify their failings, and enduring protracted disappointment. Identifying irresponsible individuals. Irresponsible individuals exhibit the following characteristics. They avoid accountability. When confronted with problems, they deflect blame rather than accepting responsibility. For example, "My unemployment is not due to laziness, but rather a difficult job market." They fail to keep commitments. Promises are frequently made but rarely kept. When challenged, justifications are offered. They exhibit financially irresponsible behavior. They frequently borrow money without repayment or spend on non-essentials. They may even exploit others financially, leading to debt for the victim. They are overly dependent. They lack self-reliance, consistently relying on family or others for support. For example, "My parents have money. It's normal for them to help me." They exploit the kindness of others. They may manipulate through emotional appeals, creating a sense of obligation in others. Refusal is met with reproach. "Don't you care about me?" The impact of irresponsible children on the elderly. Financial strain. Irresponsible children may force elderly parents to continue providing financial support long after retirement. Emotional distress. The burden of worrying about others prevents the enjoyment of one's golden years. Exploitation. A lack of vigilance can lead to manipulation and coercion. Erosion of trust. Repeated disappointments foster feelings of isolation and despair. Confronting irresponsible individuals, a strategic approach. Emotional detachment. Avoid becoming emotionally manipulated. Irresponsible individuals often exploit empathy to foster a sense of obligation. Unconditional assistance hinders their personal growth and reinforces dependency. Recognize that enabling behavior does not equate to genuine support. Establishing clear boundaries. For those who consistently solicit financial or other forms of aid without reciprocation, establish firm boundaries. Directly communicate limitations. I cannot continue to assist you unless you demonstrate a commitment to change. Prevent the exploitation of your generosity. Transforming kindness into an enforced obligation is detrimental to both parties. Refusal of enabling behavior. Refrain from assuming the responsibilities of irresponsible individuals. This perpetuates dependency and undermines their capacity for self-reliance. For instance, if a dependent child refuses employment, cease providing financial support. This necessitates a shift towards self-sufficiency. Accountability for actions. Hold irresponsible individuals accountable for their choices and consequences. Avoid rescuing them from self-created predicaments. If financial obligations are unmet, refuse to act as guarantor or assume their debts. This fosters personal responsibility and discourages future irresponsible behavior. Prioritization of self-well-being. Protect your mental and emotional health. Do not allow the actions of irresponsible individuals to negatively impact your life. Invest your time and energy in relationships that are mutually respectful and supportive. Prioritize your own well-being and cultivate relationships with individuals who value your contributions. 5. The ungrateful. Ungrateful individuals fail to appreciate the assistance, affection, or sacrifices others make for them. These individuals may be children, spouses, friends, or family members. Regardless of the kindness shown, they remain perpetually dissatisfied, often viewing such generosity as an obligation. For older adults, cohabitating with or being subjected to an ungrateful person can lead to profound disappointment, emotional distress, and sometimes financial loss. Without effective countermeasures, continued exploitation and suffering due to their inconsiderateness is inevitable. Identifying ungrateful individuals. Ungrateful people exhibit several key characteristics. They consistently fail to express gratitude, taking assistance for granted without acknowledgement. For example, financial aid may be met with, "Is that all?" They habitually demand more. One act of kindness prompts further requests, disregarding the giver's feelings or capabilities. A common example is, "You helped me buy a house. Why won't you help with repairs?" They readily forget past favors, seeking help when needed, but exhibiting indifference or neglect when assistance is no longer required. For instance, a lifetime of childcare may be repaid with abandonment in old age. Their focus remains solely on self-interest, disregarding sacrifices made on their behalf and concentrating only on personal gain. This is evident in individuals who contact others only when needing financial assistance, yet remain absent during times of illness or hardship. Finally, they frequently criticize and judge rather than appreciating efforts, constantly implying inadequacy. Offering a meal, for example, may be met with, "Why didn't you make something better?" The impact of ingratitude on the elderly. The emotional toll of ingratitude on senior citizens is significant and multifaceted. When substantial emotional investment and practical assistance are met with a consistent lack of reciprocal appreciation, the resulting emotional wounds can be profound. Feelings of abandonment, profound sadness, and crushing disappointment are common consequences. This emotional distress can manifest as increased stress and pressure, as the elderly individual may find themselves perpetually burdened by the demands of an ungrateful recipient, leaving them with depleted energy and insufficient time for self-care. Such experiences can erode trust in others, leading to a pervasive sense of cynicism and a reluctance to offer future assistance, impacting their social interactions and overall well-being. Furthermore, the financial implications of ingratitude can be devastating. Elderly individuals, often possessing accumulated savings or assets, may become vulnerable to exploitation and financial abuse by those who demonstrate a consistent pattern of ingratitude. This exploitation can range from subtle manipulation to outright theft, resulting in significant financial losses and a compromised sense of security. The cumulative effect of these emotional, psychological, and financial burdens can severely impact the quality of life for elderly individuals, highlighting the critical need for awareness and preventative measures to protect vulnerable populations from the damaging consequences of ingratitude. Effectively managing ungrateful individuals, a strategic approach. Recognize the absence of unconditional obligation. Your assistance is a benevolent act, not a contractual obligation. The extension of support is entirely discretionary. Persistent ingratitude warrants the cessation of further aid. Prioritizing your own well-being necessitates the disengagement from such relationships when they become detrimental. Establish and maintain clear boundaries. Develop the assertive skill of declining requests from those who consistently demonstrate a lack of appreciation. Direct and unambiguous communication is key. For instance, a firm yet polite response might be, "While I assisted you previously, I believe it's crucial for you to address this matter independently this time." Consistent enforcement of these boundaries is essential to prevent exploitation. Reframe expectations. Discerning appreciation from incapacity. Not all individuals possess the capacity for gratitude. Rather than focusing on eliciting appreciation from those demonstrably incapable of expressing it, redirect your energy towards cultivating relationships with individuals who genuinely value your contributions. This shift in focus fosters a more positive and rewarding social environment. Prioritize deserving individuals. Instead of expending emotional and physical resources on those who consistently fail to reciprocate, dedicate your time and attention to individuals who demonstrably appreciate your efforts and demonstrate mutual respect. This strategic reallocation of resources maximizes positive interactions and minimizes exposure to negativity. Cultivate emotional detachment and practice letting go. Avoid allowing the ingratitude of others to negatively impact your emotional well-being. Recognize your inherent worth and the right to be treated with respect. Maintaining emotional distance from those who consistently demonstrate a lack of appreciation is crucial for preserving your mental and emotional health. This involves actively choosing to disengage from interactions that are consistently unfulfilling or damaging. Remember this. In old age, one does not require a multitude of companions, but rather a select few who demonstrate genuine kindness. Prioritize those who value you and decisively sever ties with those who inflict suffering. Have you encountered individuals fitting this description? Share your perspective in the comment section. Furthermore, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for continued access to valuable content.